And welcome back to episode 152 of the Weekly Tech Rant with me, Jay.
And me, Cole.
Well, we are back for our second show of December. I am back in the country after spending a week in South Africa. And boy, it is strange to be back in cold weather, I can tell you that now.
Bit of a difference in climate there.
I mean, I left when it was freezing cold. You know, we had the sort of the cold
Yep.
snap, and then I landed in some of mid-20s and got sunburn. I tell you, that was a shock to the system.
Did you not pack a hat and suntan lotion?
Yes, of course I did. Cough, cough. Yes. Mistake made, mistake learnt. Moving on. Well, in the week that we have been away, many things have happened, haven't they? So we have obviously talked the other week about the Broadcom closing. We talked. That was the week before, I should say, Broadcom closing. We talked about last week. We had all of our AI updates for Meta. We talked about Google. We talked AWS as well. This week we're going to be talking Nvidia, Microsoft, Apple, SpaceX, and what's the other one? Blue Origin. That's one, isn't it? Blue Origin. And Broadcom is back. And Broadcom is back with a statement that we called out before the closure. So wait for that. And we're going to talk Yorkshire tea. Yes, I never thought that would be a statement I'd be saying on this show. We're going to talk Yorkshire tea. But first, let's kick off then with the first story of the week, which is Nvidia, and it's just making money hand over fist, aren't they?
It's printing it, isn't it? They had their recent financial report, for the last quarter, and there was kind of interesting tidbits in there about AI and what they're selling. Because obviously, most consumers all think Nvidia shiny graphics cards for gaming, but that's not really where the money's coming from. It's coming from the server side, and now especially the AI accelerator cards are doing. So, in their last financial quarter, which is a quarter's 3 months, they sold 500,000 of their H1000 accelerator cards. Now these go for, we're not sure an exact price because I haven't bought one,
No?
but somewhere between $20,000 and $40,000 a go. So they made a call between $10 and $20 billion just selling this one particular H1000.
Wow.
Lots and lots of money.
And this, these are the chips that are powering these AI models, aren't they? They're the ones
OpenAI and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, the machine learning, all of that power that goes into using ChatGPT or using I guess any of these other models that are out there. I'm not sure whether perhaps Google are using them. I'm not sure, but we're pretty confident
They are.
that at least
They've bought some.
They bought some. They're probably using, so they're using them with Gemini then, because that dropped in this last week. Obviously, the Gemini LLM, which is going to come in 3 flavors. Just I guess is a relevant point of that. So we've got Gemini Nano, which is on Pixels already. Apparently, isn't it? I didn't realize that. We've got the Gemini Pro, which is already powering Bard, and then you'll have Gemini Ultra, which is like the design for data centers and slower but more precise. So really, under the hood, I should say, is probably a load of these H100s. Then, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, in their report, they did give away their biggest customers. So the 2 biggest joint first place were Microsoft, surprise, and Meta, which was a bit of a surprise.
There was didn't I see another company when I was skimming through that? I think there was another one, wasn't it?
Yeah, so they both ordered 150,000 units each, and then Amazon and Google had 50,000 units each.
Wow, and I think that was it. Tesla. I knew I'd written it down somewhere. Tesla bought some.
Oh, okay. Yeah, not surprising. They do a lot of AI training, don't they?
Yeah, they bought 50. So they bought only 15,000 units.
Only 15. That's why I didn't. Just peanuts, really, isn't it?
Yeah. So I mean, these cards are absolutely bonkers money, aren't they? Really.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested what we'll see in a year or two. Obviously, the landscape's starting to change. Obviously, more people are doing AI, but there are more competitors making the cards. I mean, AMD have just released a monster one called I think it's the ML300. But there's also startups, building out new chips as well. So, and even companies like Microsoft and Meta looking to build their own chips. I know Google build their own currently.
Yeah,
so, all the big players who are consuming the Nvidias are looking to build their own potentially, or looking for something other than Nvidia. Don't want to be held hostage by one company.
I was just going to say, that's the thing, is that this is to get them, I guess, over that finishing line, is to get them to a point where they can design their models around their own hardware. But for Nvidia, it's just like you say, a license to print money. I tell you what's interesting though, and there's no specs obviously, and they're not going to tell us, and of course they shouldn't be. But I wonder how many of these cards have made their way behind the Great Red Firewall.
Oh, I don't know. A few before the old government the US government put their foot down.
Yeah, I bet you, because China, this is the kind of cards that a lot of Chinese companies are going to want on there as well. Because you obviously you build your own, but to start with, it's cheaper to buy off the shelf, isn't it? To be
It
fair,
is. Well, I don't know if you saw
so
the article. Obviously, the US banned Nvidia shipping things
they
like
did, yeah.
the H 100s, but so China were buying up all the 4090s. Um, but now the government's put a ban on that. So I think Nvidia's releasing a 4090D specifically for China, which is a slightly kneecapped one, but I'm sure that'll be banned shortly.
I like that, the slightly kneecapped version.
It's not quite a full
missing.
4090, but it's enough for them.
It's a close enough, yeah. Well, I tell you what, hats off to Nvidia. Talk about pivoting,
Yeah,
as from graphics cards, and that's all we ever wanted. And I guess AMD are doing the same thing, aren't they? And other competitors will be coming this way. It's not going to. I don't
yeah.
foreseeably see it at
There's
Nvidia.
numerous startups building, accelerators as well. So we'll see a lot of competition in the next year.
Yeah, as I say, they're not going to own this market for long, but it's a hell of a head start.
It is.
Wow. Big money then. So talking about lost my voice there. Talking of OpenAI and all of those guys there, after the debacle from the other week,
The soap opera.
the soap opera of is he in, is he out, is he in, play the hokey cokey. The board has been the deck, I should say, has been reshuffled, hasn't it, with the board, and Microsoft is now officially on OpenAI's board, isn't it, with Sam obviously leading that as the CEO.
Yeah, it's a non-voting seat though, but it does allow them to see what's actually going on, so there'll be no surprises. It'll allow them to provide guidance to the company and the board, but they just don't have a voting right on whatever issues come up.
No, but they do. They do have 49% stake in the company, though.
That's kind of a voting right in its own. Yeah, and I actually did just literally before we came on the air, the CMA is sniffing around. I can't remember what they called this, but it's not a merger, but merger by relation kind of thing, because they own 49% of it. So the CMA now sniffing around and started an investigation into the whole how much Microsoft owns in OpenAI.
Of course they are, because they're still bitter after the whole.
Yeah, they're going to give a kicking some way, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. But what I found was interesting that Altman Southend had a memo to all the employees, hasn't he? About coming back and outlining what's happening. And apparently, in that memo, he harbors, according to the words, were zero ill will towards Ilya Sutskever, who's the one who tried to out him originally, wasn't it, in the coup?
Yeah.
And I mean, I'll give the man a graciousness. I guess he gets professional. Behind the scenes, probably there's a knife stuck in that guy's shoulder blades, I suspect.
Yeah.
But
the CMA are calling it a relevant merger situation.
Relevant merger situation. Yeah, all right, fair enough.
I know, but yeah, once we know more on that one, I'll update you on that one. But yeah, it has been interesting to see what's going on. So obviously, Sam is now back, isn't he? He's now the CEO, but he's not on the board, is he?
No, he hasn't. So he stayed off the board. So they've got Mira's coming back as CTO. The new initial board will consist of apparently Brett Taylor, who's the chair, Larry Summers, and Adam D'Angelo, and
someone from Microsoft.
Yeah, he's very happy apparently to be back. The whole statement, which is available in the show notes, goes on to talk around their new leadership team.
Yep.
And also that he's talking about building a succession plan of exceptional leaders, and it goes on and on. But basically, the three priorities. The first one is advancing their research plan and investing in the full stack safety efforts. It's just because we don't want AGI. Continuing to improve and deploy their products and serve customers. Well, given how sometimes ChatGPT from a commercial side is difficult to use, isn't it? I think that's a good idea. And then the other one is around diverse perspectives, governance structure, and overseeing independent review. And he signs off saying, "I look forward to finishing the job of building beneficial AGI, so artificial general intelligence, with you all."
Oh, I can't sign up. I'd love to, but still, it says computer says no.
I don't know. I mean, there's all this talk, isn't there, that they were potentially close to releasing AGI or there'd be a massive breakthrough. Like I said the other week, I think if OpenAI were on the cusp of an AGI breakthrough, that news would have leaked. I just don't think it kept quiet.
There's 700 odd of them there. Someone would have leaked it by now, surely.
And given all of that upside down behavior the other week, it would have been an opportunity for somebody to just let that slip, wouldn't it?
Yeah, of course.
I think they're probably close to the steps towards AGI. I think they probably all are, but it's going to be crossing that threshold, isn't it? Where it's no longer a very useful tool it can think for itself effectively.
Yeah.
and that is going to be the scary point. So I finally got around to watching Creator, by the way, on the plane.
Did you? What
Yeah,
did you
yeah,
think?
yeah. Really good. It kind of had vibes of what's the one Will Smith
iRobot?
iRobot had vibes of iRobot. It had vibes of Chappie, that
Yeah.
one with what was that? And a bits of Star Wars, with the way that like some of the robots had like sort of Star Wars style droid heads, didn't they?
Yep. I was
Um,
waiting for the three rules of robotics, Asimov, but they didn't
yeah,
come up.
and I couldn't work out the timeline either. So it appeared almost like they nuked themselves in the 50s, wasn't it? I couldn't work that out. It was really weird, wasn't it? How it sort of started off, but very
Yeah.
good film. But maybe that isn't a film. Maybe that's a propaganda story about what happens if you let OpenAI go
It could well
crazy.
be, yeah.
But no, it's very good. I did enjoy it. I also watched Oppenheimer, by the way,
Oh, I've not
which was
watched that one yet.
so nearly 3 hours long. I thought, great, I watched out the film, on the plane as we go. It took us 2 hours from the gate to take off, so I got bored and started it, and I was like three-quarters of the way through it.
Before you even took off.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did not have some great flights, did you?
Oh God, no, no. Tell you what. On the flight on the way back yesterday, or today, whatever it was, I lose track of time. One of the toilets was out of action. Another toilet, all of the mirrors, the cladding inside had fallen off. They ran out of food. The
Who are
implement.
you flying with?
Who do you think? Barely adequate. The
Oh,
in-flight,
right, okay.
the,
Your
the
favourite
in-flight,
airline.
yeah, the in-flight entertainment system failed. What else? What else? I did fly South African internally, and the seat fell apart whilst I was trying to.
I remember you saying that.
Yeah, that was eye opening.
Reassuring. Did you not pay for the optional
Reassuring.
upgrade of an actual working seat?
No, sorry, that wasn't on the upgrade list. No. Anyway, we digress on a tangent.
Yeah.
So back to the track then. So
Yeah.
a little bit of, I guess, I don't know. This is a bit of a surprise. So
Yeah.
the EU then has looking. Well, just to be clear, the EU has been running an antitrust investigation into Apple and particularly iMessage around
Yeah.
whether or not it is, I guess, taking a huge advantage over every other messaging platform as well as other startups
Yeah.
to get on there.
It's still tied in with the Digital Markets Act, isn't it?
Correct.
And
Yeah.
gatekeeper status and all that kind of stuff.
Well, it seems then that EU may rule in Apple's favour as opposed to that of their antitrust team, isn't it? Which is looking a
Yeah.
bit odd. So it applies then. So just to be clear, so we talked about the DMA before. And the DMA is the new Digital Markets Act, as you said, which is coming out next year. We've talked about it in very different areas than we well. But in this case, they're saying about that it's about dominant. It's about applying to dominant companies, isn't it? Monopolization.
Yeah.
And Apple qualifies in terms of the App Store, which we already know about. We're going through that as well. We've seen it again with the other applications, and
Yeah.
such. But Apple argued that iMessage should be exempt from this, but this was all around opening a platform up, wasn't it? Allowing interoperability between other applications. And their argument was that Apple doesn't have enough active users in the EU.
Yes. And you know what? I think they've won. So, iMessage was initially excluded from the initial list of dominant messaging apps. The initial list they started with was WhatsApp and Facebook. Then they're going through a process of looking at all the other ones and maybe adding them in or not. But according to Bloomberg, I say this isn't officially announced yet by the EU, basically they tend to conclude that it isn't popular enough with business users to warrant being hit by the regulations. Obviously, a lot of businesses use WhatsApp, don't they? There's a business version
Yeah,
you can use
yeah.
to run your business communication with customers. You can do it from the web and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, they're saying Apple isn't, or iMessage itself isn't popular enough to be warranted or designated as a gatekeeper.
I am stunned by this, quite frankly.
Yeah, me too. And I kind of wonder if Apple, was it only a couple of weeks ago, last month, saying, aha, we're going to support RCS, whether that's helped, sway that decision.
Yeah.
We won't actually find out to February, I think, when it
No,
ends.
but I wonder whether or not that was a conceited effort to try and make this go away. I know they had to. We kind of mentioned this before that they were going to likely do it anyway because of the DMA, but to remove the need for them to unlock the platform, should we say?
Yeah.
It could be a way to do it. But yeah, I mean, let's be honest. Nobody probably would have expected Apple to have taken the
Nope.
the positive ruling here, would they?
No. Well, blue bubbles for the win.
Yeah, well,
You're
that's
not
what
getting
we're
those
saying.
with RCS.
You're not getting those with RCS. We mentioned this before, didn't we? It's not going to happen.
You can have RCS, but it's going to be greed.
Yeah, doesn't matter what you get. You might get additional functionality, but you won't get blue bubbles.
Oh, man.
Oh God, no.
Oh.
Okay, so let's go to space then, shall we?
Yeah, so this is this is a bit of eating humble pie, isn't it? So Amazon announced Amazon is building their own version of what does SpaceX call their one? Starlink. So
Starlink, yeah.
internet satellite. So theirs is called Cooper.
Yeah.
Kuiper.
Is it Cupers or Keepers? I can't. But yeah, it's
They're
Project
building
Cooper.
their own version, okay, and they've started launching them. They've now, was it last year? They basically bought 68 rockets from varying launch people, with the exception of SpaceX. Okay, so clearly, obviously, Bezos owns Amazon and Blue Origin, and there's a bit of rivalry there, isn't there, with Musk for SpaceX? So he bought launches from every single person other than SpaceX. So now he's had to, eat humble pie and buy a load of Falcon 9 launches.
So yeah, so just to be clear, so this is not about Blue Origin. Sorry, my mistake in the load up.
Yeah.
This is about Amazon themselves, isn't it?
Yes, it's Amazon themselves.
Effectively. So obviously, in this capacity, Blue Origin, whilst is one of the Apple, I guess, the family of Amazon companies, isn't it? I guess is not here. But yeah, you're right. So back last year, Amazon bought up pretty much all of the spare capacity that was there with SpaceX, as you say,
not with SpaceX.
No, sorry.
They did United Launch Alliance,
Ariane
Space, Blue Origin, basically everyone other than SpaceX.
Yeah, so the ULA is another US based company. Ariane is the EU's launch capability. They launch out of French Guiana in South America, and obviously Blue Origin. Where did Blue Origin launch from? I'm guessing probably same place as SpaceX. I guess
Texas.
Yeah, but this, you're right. And this is all about building these new internet as a service satellites. Now, a lot of detractors are saying, obviously, that things like Starlink and obviously other platforms are causing major issues in space, aren't they? Because these are hundreds of these micro satellites,
thousands even, yeah.
Well, yeah, thousands. You're right. Now they are in thousands.
Yeah.
Tens of thousands of these satellites that operate in a train effect across the sky, that apparently could cause additional damage, could cause space debris, blocking out amateur sort of astronomers, isn't it? All this kind of stuff. But it is big business, and within a few years, it is going to be the only place you're going to get internet, I think, at high speed is going to come from space, isn't it? Personally speaking, I think it's the only way to do it.
Yeah, maybe certainly certain other areas, cities and stuff that are already cabled with fibre, but they're not going to worry about that at all.
No.
But yeah, so I think the crux was, though, he's bought all of this, and really, apart from the Atlas V, none of the rockets needed to deploy Cooper network have actually flown.
No.
So he's bought ULA, he's bought aerospace, and even Blue Origin. That's flown. It's not deployed satellites or anything like that, has it?
No, not at all.
So the only one that could actually do it was the Atlas V, which they're actually winding down production of now. So Amazon's bought whatever was left, and there is no more. And it's SpaceX. So he's had to pay old Musk for a bit of capacity there.
Yeah, and those Atlases are the ULA, which is the US space, basically, the ones that before SpaceX were doing it. And you're right. I mean, those Falcon 9s are amazing. There's no doubt about it. So SpaceX apparently, I read, was it this year they've done 88 Falcon 9 launches.
Yeah, that's crazy, isn't it?
And don't forget, every one of those boosters is recovered.
Yep, we don't hear anything about it because it just works now.
No, so they're apparently, and this was what blew my mind. They're looking at a launch cadence of one flight every 2.5 days next year.
Oh, wowza!
We have entered a new age of space exploration and travel. We really have. The ability to launch things into space is no longer the preserve of large governments, military, is it? It is now a commercial enterprise, and
as we've talked about now.
And we've talked about this before, haven't we? How again, commercialization by private companies, and in this case SpaceX, is just phenomenal. It's like what Apple did for the mobile phone market. Again, they didn't invent it, did they?
Nope.
SpaceX didn't invent rocket launches, but they have taken it to a whole new level. I mean, and every time I see those pictures of the booster dropping down, not on land, but that's awesome.
But
But when
landing
it
on a
lands on
boat
a
in the middle of the
boat,
sea in a
like
storm.
yeah, it is phenomenal. So I guess from Amazon's point of view, they've got to launch it, haven't they? They've got to take what they
Well,
can.
yeah, there was a lawsuit filed against them, wasn't there, by
Yeah.
shareholders of, I think it was a pension fund that included Amazon stock. And the suit basically claims that it's found that Bezos and its board of directors breached their fiduciary duty and failed to consider SpaceX during the launch of launch service procurement. So they're currently being sued for that, which probably isn't helping.
No, not at all. But yeah, yeah, that's going to slow it down a little bit, isn't it? Because of the things. So what they're looking at doing is that so they need to launch, was it nearly 3,300 satellites flying in low Earth orbit, and they need
Yep.
to get half of these done by 2026, isn't it? So yeah,
Yes.
it's not. They're running out of time, no doubt.
Massively.
I mean, given how SpaceX are launching probably that in a year,
Yeah, they've only bought 3 launches with SpaceX. I can't remember how many they do at a time. That might get them. I don't know,
that might get their capacity
a couple
up.
of hundred. Yeah. I don't know how many
Yeah.
satellites are going up at once.
But SpaceX doesn't care who they take the money from, because they've had, was it OneWeb as well using SpaceX, weren't they?
Yes, yeah, a lot of the competitors have been using SpaceX.
We've also seen one of the military defense contractors, Northrop Grumman, is using SpaceX to launch its supply freighters to the ISS, and this is amazing, because everybody sees it. It's kind of like, we'd be stupid not to use these guys, isn't it? It's like, why would we try and go anywhere else when these guys are doing it day in, day out?
I bet probably because of that, they're probably the cheapest people as well.
Yeah, they probably are. Yeah. Because actually, if you can do it consistently, you don't need to be paying stupid money, isn't it?
No. And you're reusing rockets and all and bits and pieces, which helps offset that cost.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I don't want to get into that here, but I wonder though, by the ability to land those boosters down every time, how much money that they've saved in terms of having to build new versus refurbing.
Don't know. Yeah, quite a bit.
I suspect, indeed. So then, we come to the story that I've been looking forward to talking about.
Sorry tale.
Yeah. So just to recap then, 2 weeks ago, Broadcom completed its acquisition of VMware. After yes, finally is the right word. Well, after dragging on for some time, they finally completed it. And they last week set out
They're restructuring, didn't they? They
that was the right
announced
one. Yeah,
that's the right VMware into.
So they said they were going to restructure VMware. So what we noticed, though, hearing that statement, was that there was no mention really of security got a mention, didn't it? But it wasn't security in terms of Carbon Black. And we also noticed that the end user computing division was also now. What I want to stress, and we called this before the merger completed. We called this and said
ages ago. We knew what was.
We reckoned that Broadcom would spin off EUC and security because they did not fit with the acquisitions they already had. And lo and behold, what has happened yesterday?
Yep. They did kind of announce they will be spinning off. It was on their Q4 earnings call, wasn't it? They'll be spinning off Carbon Black and EUC. Basically, they're going to kind of concentrate on their core business of creating private and hybrid cloud environments, for large enterprise, that kind of stuff. And what was the statement they actually said about it? We prefer now to divest. And to us, end user computing, Carbon Black, good assets as they may be, we prefer now to invest them. We'll find good homes for them because there are a lot of very interesting parties who are more than happy to take those assets.
But there's two things to state at this point. Spinning off Carbon Black is not going to be a major problem because it's not as deeply integrated into the stack as the EUC portfolio. So
I'd argue the EUC is split into two, isn't it? One part I think is pretty easy, and the other part not so much.
Yeah. So first things first, though, where's Carbon Black going to go? Because when you look at the market space today, who is going to buy Carbon Black? They are not a CrowdStrike, a SentinelOne, a Palo Alto, any of those organizations, are they?
Nope.
anymore. You got to look at what happened to Silence. You
Yep.
got to look at what happened to Cyber Reason. Where does Carbon
Yeah.
Black
What's
sit
their
now?
USP now?
Yeah, exactly. What is their USP?
They got bought by VMware, and from my understanding, like a lot of the UC, it just really wasn't invested in. The money wasn't put into it, so it's now lagging behind and with no clear direction.
No, they had some investment in terms of they moved into workload protection, that kind of stuff, but everybody's doing that now.
Yeah.
So as an independent organization, I worry for them. What I could probably see, and again, we've seen this before, is VC buy up. Again,
Yeah.
another one of these organizations. I can't. My brain goes blank when I think of them. Like the one that bought SailPoint and all that kind of stuff. Again,
Tom
buying,
Brava.
that's the one. Thank you. Something like that, buying them up, slotting them in.
Yeah, that would probably make sense.
Now, the other one, as we said before, is we've got, the EUC, as you said, is 2 points. So on one side, we've got Workspace ONE, which is the unified endpoint management software, which, again, still is probably, Microsoft is the market leader. Now, they are just behind them, really, in the Magic Quadrant, aren't they?
Yep.
But by spinning them off, where do they go? Now, I've heard some unsubstantiated rumors that HCL are interested in buying them.
Yeah, I could see one of the GSIs doing it. Why not? I mean, didn't you say HCL bought Big Fix from IBM, didn't they, when they spun
they
that
did,
one out? I could see him doing it. I don't know whether a VC would. I mean, some of the VCs, Jamf is owned by a VC, isn't it?
Yeah, but the thing is, though, the EUC, but they're selling EUC as a business unit. So obviously, then we've got Workspace ONE. The other problem is Horizon, the desktop as a service offering, isn't it?
Yeah, but
And this
heavily relies on vSphere ESXi, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's built. That's what it runs off, isn't it? The whole thing.
It's a bit of automation and a GUI that sits on top of ESXi and provisions VMs and stuff. So
yeah. But Hop Cam made it very clear, didn't he, that he doesn't want you to buy a piece of VMware. He wants you to take the portfolio, isn't it? So Cloud Foundation. So he wants you to take the software-defined data center. So how?
And he wants you to not just buy it outright, as he said in that statement. He says they'll be one of the aims for 2024 will be converting the installed base license that is over 60% perpetual today to one that will be pretty much all subscription by the end of fiscal 2024. So yeah, he wants you off that perpetual license and onto a subscription each month.
Now I did see something the other day that they reckon the EUC and Carbon Black is around a $2 million business based on their revenue forecast.
So billion or million?
Billion with a B.
Billion with a B. Yeah, that makes sense. I thought 2 million was a little low.
No.
Billion. Yeah. Wow, is that it?
Yeah.
Because AirWatch was sold to VMware for 1.5 and a bit billion.
Yeah, but look where the market is today.
No, that's true. That's true.
Microsoft pretty much own the unified endpoint management market. The old players have all dropped out. The only really player that's left outside of those guys is Workspace ONE.
Yeah, and I think it'll be a too expensive proposition or product for them to go it alone now. There are too many individual players that are still, the smaller startups, SMB kind of stuff. You've
got Jamf. Yeah, so you see in the Apple space, you've got Jamf who own the Apple management stack. You've got people like Kanji, haven't you? You've got I'm trying to think of another. There's about 3 or 4 of those again. Smaller players now that are carving out a niche for themselves, really, isn't it? In that sense,
there's still a lot of them only do Apple.
Yeah, because it makes life easier.
Because Apple's done all the work for them. It's just an API server and a pretty GUI on top.
Yeah.
So I don't think any of them do the breadth that Workspace ONE does. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, you could even see something crazy like one of their customers buy them up.
Or like
Amazon or someone like that.
Yeah, possible.
Just to go, you know what, we use this. It's so fundamental to our operating business day to day that I know they ask $1 billion for it. It's pocket change to someone like Amazon to buy it up. And,
it's an accounting roundup, isn't it? Yeah,
it is, and it keeps if their business stopped working because no one was supporting it, that would be a bigger loss.
What's more worrying is that Broadcom isn't really offering much information at the minute to customers that have got those products, and they are right. Also, Broadcom said that they are looking to have a $1.3 billion write down on their forecast as well, which is to do with, basically cost cutting, isn't it? So about the sale. and we've seen a lot of layoffs already.
Yeah, I mean the customers are already spooked because Broadcom just want to jack up the prices. Now, if you're using EUC to be brought into Broadcom, don't be told we're actually going to sell it off somewhere else. I say, especially if you then use Horizon, you're sitting there thinking, how, what? I mean, yeah, what does this actually mean for me?
Yeah, it's a bit of a worry, really, isn't it? I have to say. So, again, not to I don't want to. Certainly don't want to gloat and say, "Oh, we called it." But I think what our point was we saw this coming, didn't we? And
Yeah,
lo and behold, it has happened, which is not great. Not great.
No, and let's say a few of the people I've spoken to this morning, actually, within VMware, have said kind of happy that they're going to spin EUC off because it's not
They didn't want to be
Broadcom.
in Broadcom. Yeah.
It's not Broadcom.
So I guess for those people, you've got two choices, haven't you? You either basically hold fast, don't you?
Yeah, and hope you don't get cold while you're still holding fast.
And see, maybe get the other side and have a strong position, or you, I guess, roll the dice and see where you can go, isn't it?
Yep. We're going to use a lot of good talent.
Good luck, though, to those people. Good luck.
Definitely.
Though I have to say, I did meant to say, forgot about it. Just remember, I was looking on LinkedIn this morning, and they're still hiring for EUC talent.
Oh, God. You've got to be desperate for a job at this point to then go and apply.
Yeah, exactly. But I'll just leave that.
You could get a job, quit your current one, and your job's gone by the time you've even started.
Yeah, I'm just going to leave that with you. No. Right then, let's take a pop across to Yorkshire tea then. And
one for all you tea lovers out there. It's a silly one. I put it in there, and you'll need to go and look at the link to see the images. But yeah, Yorkshire Tea has announced not a new flavour of tea, but instead Yorkshire Tea branded Xbox and PlayStation controllers. Yes, the design seems to be a kind of mixture of a picture of rolling countryside with hills and trees. It's got some red accents to it, and
it's like the package. Their packaging.
It is. They've got a big Yorkshire Tea logo on it. So they look like they're official controllers, but with custom printed shells and buttons by the look of them. But boy, are you going to pay a premium for them. They are £150, not dollars, pounds each. But someone likes them because the PlayStation ones have run out already.
Damn.
And they're sold out, they're gone. It was a limited run. So someone wanted the PlayStation ones and has bought them. But if you want the Xbox ones, they are still there at $150 a pop.
So this is a collaboration with Pop eArt, isn't it? Who's a controller designer. I mean, look, I guess for uniqueness and having a box of that, it's going to be something that's going to be sold in years to come, isn't it? It's not really something you're buying now because you might love tea, I guess, but it's more about, I guess, having something that's resellable in the future, and it's a unique design, isn't it? That's the thing.
It is. You could sit there and imagine playing for it, and all you're thinking about is, I need a cup of tea. I need a cup of tea. Every 5 seconds for a cuppa.
Yeah,
subliminal messaging.
It is absolutely bonkers. I have to say, I did not expect that one to be coming out.
No, gave me a chuckle though. But yeah, please do after the show. Go click the link, have a look at the pictures. They're quite funny.
They are very good, yeah. I think the PlayStation one actually works for me, to be honest with you.
Yeah?
I like that. Yeah, I think that just the way it is. Maybe it's just the uniformity of it.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, the Xbox one's a bit skewed to the right, isn't it? With the logo down at the bottom there.
Yeah. Okay, so what else we got in the games this week then?
Ready? Take them back to your childhood, okay? I actually got quite excited when I watched a video of this morning, but Sega has announced a whole bunch of they're not remakes, continuations of the series for some classic games. So there'll be another Jet Set Radio. I didn't play that one.
No.
Shinobi, I played. Streets of Rage, Crazy Taxi, and my favourite, Golden Axe.
Which is basically Streets of Rage, but set in with
orcs and wizards and axes. And it's great. So there's no release dates on this yet, but watch the video. We'll link it. And it does show brief glimpses of some of the games. I must have said, Golden Axe looks like a third person kind of brawler now, a 3D one rather than 2D scrolling. Actually, it looked pretty good. I wonder if we can play co-op over the internet with that.
Well, yeah, this is all part was a real, wasn't it? As their Power Surge, the Sega reveal, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which they did. I mean, Crazy Taxi is not a bad game. I enjoyed playing that on the
Yeah, me
Dreamcast
too.
actually. Also, I enjoyed the arcade version of that as well. That was good fun.
Oh yeah, yeah, with the steering wheel pedals. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like you say, Streets of Rage, fantastic game.
There
I
was
love
wasn't
that.
there a remake of that? Or was
There
it
was,
a
but it wasn't
HD
called Streets.
remaster or something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it wasn't called Streets of Rage though, was it? It was called something else, I think, wasn't it? But I've got it.
Was
I've
it?
got it
No, I've
somewhere.
got it. Yeah, I've got that one.
I'll have to go find it. But yeah, there was indeed, which was like I said, HD remastered. It was very good. I enjoyed playing that. But yeah, Shinobi was good. I do remember Jet Set Radio, but it wasn't something I was to say I played. But Golden Axe again. I mean, that's just classic games
Obviously,
here.
was that the Master System?
Yeah, it
Or was
was
it
the
Mega
Master
Drive?
System. Yeah, I had a Golden Axe was on the Master System, wasn't it?
I played it around a friend's house. I didn't have the Sega consoles. I was the Nintendo.
Yeah, Golden Axe was. Yeah, it was on the Master System. I remember
It was a
having it.
Master System. Maybe it was a Golden Axe 2 or something. It was a Mega Drive I played. But yeah.
1991.
Oh, man, I was 10.
Well, I know Golden Axe was. Golden Axe, sorry, was released earlier than that, 1989. But the Master, I think it was. I'm sure I read somewhere the Master System version. I mean, I couldn't remember. I had to look it up.
Yeah.
But awesome games. Well, there you go. Some more Sega games then. So talking of games then, before we wrap up for today, we so on the 5th of December there was a little announcement, wasn't there, from a certain company?
Yes, there was indeed.
Go on then. Do you want to tell the people?
Wow, GTA 6 is official. The actual trailer video got leaked 17 or 18 hours before it was meant to.
Terrible,
so they just released it. Yeah. But yeah, it looks very, very good. They've definitely cranked up the detail level. It is set in basically Miami, Florida area, isn't it? With the Florida Keys, or they call it Vice City. So it's was Vice City GTA 3, wasn't it?
I think it was, wasn't it? Yeah.
3, 4 was San Andreas. 5.
I think it was. Yeah. It wasn't
3.
the best in the series. Good music.
A
lot of oh god, what's the what was the TV show with the two guys?
Miami Vice.
That's it. Thank you. That's basically what it was, wasn't it?
It looks fantastic.
This, however, is all up to date. It follows a duo, Lucia, who is the first female protagonist, and apparently an unnamed male partner, isn't it? We don't know
his name was dropped in the video, but I can't remember it now.
Yeah, I can't remember, but like you say, it looks phenomenal. I mean, it is going to absolutely spank the Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5. There's no denying that.
Yeah, that's it. Now for the bad news, though. It's 2025 release date, although it's their financial year 2024, which ends in April, I think. So probably the first 3 months of 2025. That's any consolation. But for you PC gamers out there, it hasn't been announced for the PC yet. I presume it probably will come out at some point. But yeah, if it's anything like GTA 5 and Red Dead 2, you could be waiting a year, 2 years before we get it on the PC. After it's released for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, isn't it?
It is. So the trailer is absolutely slick. It's Apple-esque in terms of slickness, isn't it? It features Tom Petty's "Love Is a Long Road," and apparently it broke records as well with the first non-music YouTube video within 12 hours to 46 million plays on the first day, and within 24 hours it had 93 million, which apparently beats the GTA 5 to 2011 reveal trailer. 2011.
Well, come on, we bought it on the original Xbox.
I know, but I can't believe they revealed it in 2011, and we didn't buy it for
2013. 4, 5, basically. Yeah, we bought it 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, so we probably are looking, I suspect, at a Q3 release for this in 2025, video though is phenomenal.
They did say by the end of their financial year 2024, which is April 2025.
Okay, so Q2 then. Okay,
so
cool.
The first 3 months of end of Q1, start of Q2. But
okay, that's good. Well,
whether they stick to that though, who knows?
Well, fair point. But the really cool, interesting about video was kind of a lot of the clips in the trailer of these people in Vice City turned out to be based on real life Florida YouTube clips.
Yeah.
Nearly all of them apparently are real videos that they've turned into scenes in the game, and it is so funny, isn't it?
It is. I must say, I mean, missed a bit of the comedy. So if you look at GTA 5, you got some very who's the crazy guy? I've forgotten his name now.
Trevor,
Trevor. Well, he's just
bonkers.
hilarious. Bonkers, yeah. You kind of missed a bit of that with the main characters. The main characters seem quite serious in the game. Obviously, a lot of the other stuff is funny, but the main characters seem quite serious, which you didn't get so much with GTA 5.
No, but I guess we won't. We only there'll be, we've only seen a snapshot here.
Yeah.
I guess as we get towards into 2024, we'll probably end up seeing more gameplay videos.
Yep.
And we'll probably get a more sense of who the characters are. So you never know. There could be more revealed. In fact, I will guarantee there's going to be more revealed.
Definitely.
Probably.
The bit I'm waiting for is the radio. We didn't hear any of the radio stuff. The radio stuff.
No, that's always
hilarious.
That's always and
talk shows.
Yeah. Oh God, I love the radio. And normally, what's on the radio ends up being like massive sellers again, don't they? Because people want to buy those tracks. Well, then, that's probably a good place for us to wrap up for this week. Bit of a shorter show, but hopefully you've enjoyed the content. We just cannot wait for GTA 6.
I might have to buy an Xbox for the office.
Yeah, I think you're right.
If I can't buy it on PC. Dear Santa.
I would like.
Yeah.
So, right then, on that point then, like I say, probably a good place for us to wrap up. Of course, you can find us. We're still on X, Twitter, whatever they call it this week, at Weekly Tech Rant. And of course, all of our show notes and links to all the things we've talked about today are at techrant.online. And as Carl said, I really recommend you to go look at the Yorkshire Tea branded Xbox and PS5
watch
controllers.
GTA 6 video. We'll slap
and
that
of course,
in the thing
yes.
as well.
Look at the GTA 6 video. Please go watch that. It will be the best 5 minutes of your day, without any holds barred. We'll be back next week, hopefully, if scheduling allows, for probably the penultimate show. In fact, it will be the penultimate. It will be the penultimate show of the year, because we'll probably have a break then for the Christmas week, and then we'll be back in between Christmas and New Year for our usual end of year roundup. But we'll have more details on that as we get closer. So please drop us a line, let us know your thoughts. If we made you smile or you think we're completely bonkers, do let us know. It's always interesting to hear the feedback. Right, we'll be back next week then. With that, I've been Jay.
I've been Carl. Have a good day all.